I'm Eddie Carifio, the sports editor at the Cal Daily Chronicle. We have a special, roundtable, you can call it, looking back at kind of the Indian Creek season for the boys basketball team and what the last 2 months has been like in isolation in Chaminade and Waterman and everything. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Coach, you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Coach Piekarz, head coach at Indian Creek High School boys basketball. Go ahead, Cooper.
I'm Cooper Larsen, and I was a player last year on Indian Creek's basketball team. I just graduated today, so actually.
Congratulations. Cam?
I'm Cameron Russell. I was a junior, and I'm just been finishing my schoolwork, almost done.
And Drew?
I'm Drew Gaston. I was a junior, and yeah.
So I want to start with Cooper. What was graduation like? What was that like?
It wasn't too bad. It took like 5 minutes. It was kind of weird. There was no clapping or anyone in the background really. It was pretty quiet. And I don't know, I haven't really been to too many graduations, but usually there's air horns and people yelling, and so it was kind of weird. And I did my speech over video too, so it's just, I guess it's better for me to do a speech over video because then I don't have to look out into the crowd and see everyone staring at me, but it's kind of weird.
So this question, I'll let all four of you answer, but that week of the Super-Sectional game was quite the busy week. I mean, even I believe the day of the Super-Sectional, wasn't that the day where like everything happened with Rudy Gobert testing and Tom Hanks? And I believe that was all the same day, was it not?
That was the beginning of kind of all of this.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So, you know, looking back on that, here we are 2 months, I think, later. What was just that week like, going from on Monday being 35-0 and getting ready for a Super-Sectional and hoping to make it to state to this?
I think the whole process was insane when you start with winning that sectional game on Friday, and then I even remember doing the tickets on that Saturday, and you know, Mr. Mertz, our AD, had said that ticket sales will start at like 12 o'clock or something like that, and we got back over to the school at like 11, and there's already a line of people waiting for tickets, and at that point we realized, okay, this is going to be a different kind of week than any week we've been used to, and for us to sell out of our tickets and have to get more. And then, to be honest, you know, we had thousands and thousands of people at NIU, and I don't think very many people were thinking about, oh, we probably shouldn't be doing this, or you know, after the game there were hugs all around, and people weren't shy about that. And then within 48 hours, maybe not even 48 hours, we're at today. So, you know, you look back and you think, wow, things sure did change quickly.
Yeah, Cam, what do you remember about that week?
I was like at the beginning of the week, like we were like excited because we just won. So then we were like getting ready for Super-Sectionals, and then playing at NIU was like a great experience and a lot of fun, even though we lost. After that, just like hearing about the coronavirus and all the teams not being able to play, like what if we would have won and not been able to play, like that would have been like heartbroken. So it was a crazy experience.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned what happened if you'd won, and that's something that's really I've been wondering about for a couple months. Is you know, your guys' season ended. I mean, obviously it was on a loss. Obviously, you know, the way you wanted it to end. You at least had closure to it. Whereas the kind of Cam kind of alluded to, if you had won, I mean, you'd be going in undefeated, and then you wouldn't have known what happened. So, Drew, if you want to take this one first, just is that something you kind of thought about too, and just how do you look back at that?
Honestly, how I look at it, I was like super excited that we were 35-0 going into a Super-Sectional game, playing Roy Christian again. Hopefully we can beat him again for the third time. But now, like, after we lost and like knowing that the coronavirus hit, I was like like, I didn't think I would be, but I was, like, super upset for all the other teams that made it downstate. And, like, they were already there, like, in their hotels, going down to the court, getting ready to, like, practice for their 45 minutes or whatever. And then it gets canceled, and I just felt upset for every other team. And even if it was us, I would have been pretty heartbroken as well. And just playing at NIU was fun, even though I played there a few times, like, over summer. But it was just fun playing with my team. Didn't even know it was going to be the last time playing with the seniors that were seniors this year. But, yeah, it was a little heartbroken knowing that we didn't win. And I was upset that the other teams didn't get to play because they worked their butts off during the regular season and postseason just to get to that spot, and knowing it'd be canceled, I'd be upset.
Yeah, Cooper, how do you kind of view that, knowing that, okay, yeah, it was a loss, but you had closure on the season, and comparing that to, the 4 teams that won, yeah, making it to state, but not having that closure. How do you kind of view that?
I mean, I think it was a little bit different because I didn't know this would be – well, I had a feeling that the end was coming near to my basketball career in high school, and I was kind of preparing myself because as the postseason started, me and my dad had a talk, and we were like, hey, eventually your season's going to be over and you're going to be done. And that's just what it's going to be. And obviously it's going to be your first loss. And he said, you just have to be prepared for that because it's going to happen at some point. And I think my perspective of it I didn't really think too much about how it ended, how the other teams ended, because when we lost, it kind of just, everything just drained out. And it was just, I don't know. I didn't really think about that stuff too much just because our season had ended and it was just, everything was just gone. I think it was more about our season and how we got there more than like how it ended, I guess, to say. It would be more heartbreaking. I don't know. Just it would have been nice to end undefeated, but I mean, that's just the way it happened, and so.
Yeah, Coach, had you given much thought maybe to the kind of, well, what if we had won and then we wouldn't have been able to play, and what that would have felt like?
Oh, absolutely. I think in some ways by losing that game, it's allowed us to celebrate things that we did accomplish this season, because the things we accomplished this season, having the undefeated regular season, winning the tournaments and winning the school's first sectional and being ranked the way we were are things that a normal high school player and team and kids don't get to experience. And I think if we would have won that game, the focus would have been more on the what if and what could we have done, and instead of celebrating what we did do. And I think we've been able to celebrate a little bit more. With that being said, obviously we all wanted to still be there, and I've talked to a couple of people. I think if we would have won, that would have made a pretty good movie. Here's that small school, trying to make it downstate for the very first time, goes 36-0, and the coronavirus is the only thing that stops them. Sounds like a pretty good movie script to me. So maybe that's the one drawback that we didn't get to have.
I think it was a movie, then you would have come back and played in May and then won or something. I think
exactly.
A true movie, it wouldn't be like, oh, hey, everything's just over, done at the end of the second act.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I know it was obviously the spring stuff being canceled. Cam, you play baseball, right?
I do not.
What? You don't?
Cooper does.
Cooper plays baseball. Cam, do you play a spring sport?
No.
Okay, and Drew, you run track, right?
No.
See,
I didn't.
over 3, basically. That's just excellent on my part. Cooper, what's it been? I know it's just strange not having the baseball season this year, your last baseball season. But
It's kind of weird just because around this time we would because normally you don't play the first few games of the season. They're usually canceled, and then around now, or before now, I guess, we would have started playing games, and it was, I don't know, a lot of the dates started popping up, and it was like playing here, and it felt weird. And also normally I have that transition from basketball to baseball and then go back and forth. But I don't know. It's just, I think the way that I've seen it is just there's not really much that I can do about it, and it's just happened. It's sad, but yeah.
Guess for Drew and Cam, just what's it like for you guys with, I guess, the level of uncertainty around the fall coming back to high school? Cam, if you want to go first.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about it. Just like even if we'll like be able to come back to school in the fall, like have a soccer season because me and Drew both play soccer. So hopefully we will be able to come back and play soccer. But I don't know. So I've been just trying to keep busy and keep staying active, just in case like we do have a soccer season and basketball season. But I don't know.
Yeah, Drew, how are you handling kind of the uncertainty going into next year, both academically and obviously athletically?
Like Cameron said, I've been thinking about it like pretty much every day, like knowing how good of like a soccer season and basketball season we had last year. Like hoping we can go back out and play and just going back to school too. It's like I don't like staying at home every day. I want to go back to school, see my friends, see the teachers, and just enjoy just being able to like go at school, going like out to eat with my friends and stuff like that. Like just hopefully school will go back and we'll all be able to go back to normal, play sports again, have our great crowds at our sporting events, just stuff like that.
Okay, well, guys, I want to thank you all for your time for this, and good luck with, whatever comes next, given the situation. So thank you all.
I appreciate you having us on, Eddie. I appreciate the coverage that you give us. Keep making sure that you subscribe to the Daily Chronicle. I know I enjoy it, and that it's when you do the online version, you get all the papers too, so it's even better. So it's
I could have said it better myself. We should all listen to the award-winning basketball coach.
There we go. So,
the IBCA, right?
There we go.
IBCA 1A coaching honors this year, right? So
I believe so. So I appreciate that.
So I think we should listen to what he has to say. But
there we go.
Speaking. So, guys, thank you very much for the time.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you.